Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on facebook.com/superfunpodcast, twitter.com/superfunpodcast, patreon.com/superfunpodcast, Instagram @superfunpodcastgo, iTunes @superfun game review podcast go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! I'm your host tonight, Ralph. Let's kick this off Mark IV style, motherfucker! To my left, I have Clark.
I'm no hero, Ralph. I'm just your regular U.S. Army Mark IV Cyber Commando.
That is true. To Clark's left, we have Harry.
It's Sloane's bedtime, and I'm tucking him in 6 feet under.
And to Harry's left, we have Steve.
Knife to meet you.
All right, in case you couldn't tell, tonight's game is Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon. One of the, spoiler, greatest DLCs ever created in the history of video games, in my opinion.
Agreed. Definitely for like standalone stuff, I think it's like one of the best, well-curated games.
Took what we needed from the source material for Far Cry 3 and just changed everything else and made it its own thing, and in my opinion, it's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. But let's go right into initial impressions. Clark, you were starting. Go ahead.
So I played this game right when it came out, and I heard a preview about it, and I was like, this is a game that has my name written all over it. Purchased it, and couldn't stop playing with it.
Walked right in that one.
Purchased it, couldn't stop playing it. This is one of the very few like DLC things. I went out of my way, and I have all of the achievements for it. Like, I have this, 100% done on Xbox.
And those achievements are pretty tongue-in-cheek, too, if I remember right.
Yeah, a ton of them are... you do have to hunt down every single blood dragon on the island and kill it, though.
Oh, I didn't do that one. Wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
That's one of the achievements.
Do you remember what it says when you get that? You like Dragon Master or something? Or
No, it has something to do with the hearts, though.
Oh, okay.
So this is actually the very first Far Cry game I've played, period. And it just so happens to be a DLC, and a crazy one at that.
It's all downhill from here.
There we go. Really? Is this like the pinnacle? Where?
Well, I don't know if it's the pinnacle, but I'm just saying that that's a kind of odd that this is your first Far Cry, and if you liked this, you should check out the other ones, I think.
Okay. Well, just as long as I'm not at the top of the mountain and I'm going to go tumbling down.
No guarantees.
Okay. I actually never even heard of it before, obviously, you said it, because you just said Blood Dragon. I didn't realize until you talked about it a little more. It was a Far Cry clone, I think you basically said, where it just took all the rest of it and just put its own shit over it.
Like a filter.
Yeah, okay, that was the word I was looking for.
Not quite. There's more to it than that, but obviously it's just...
Yeah, I'm sure it's a little bit different. Yeah, once I pretty much opened up and just saw the graphics as soon as the opening came up, I was all in.
What do you mean, like the 8-bit cutscenes?
The 8-bit cutscenes, just like the terrible 80s, everything we're going to be covering over. It just looked...
But what do you mean by terrible 80s? Because you mean awesome 80s, right?
Awesome 80s. Like, the really bad B-movies in the 80s, but they're so bad that they're really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, that sounds better, yeah. Harry, what do you got?
I actually don't have much to say. I never played a Far Cry myself as well, so I'm in the same boat as Steve with this one.
Grab a paddle.
Never even heard of this game before.
That's a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
That's a lie.
How is that a lie? Oh, well, okay. Apparently Ralph mentioned it to me back at work back in the day, but blocked a lot of those memories out, so. Interesting game. I was quite interested, I guess, once I started getting into the meat of this game. I don't want to dive into it too far, but definitely did not expect what I was given.
If I remember correctly, you sent a text to everybody saying how much you were surprised.
Yeah, I was definitely taken aback.
Okay.
Like, this is a very unique feel of a game.
Yeah, I will completely agree with that. It's very unique.
Yes.
I played Far Cry 3 and really enjoyed it, and it wasn't long after that game came out and I had completed it that this game was announced. And if I remember right, it was April 1st was when the trailer for Blood Dragon dropped, and I was literally floored when I saw it, because not only was it an homage to 80s action movies, which we've said, but the look of what you saw there and the animated cutscenes, and hear me out, the inclusion of Michael Biehn, which I really feel like I'm the only person on the planet who remembers Michael Biehn and likes his movies. Turns out that's not really true, I know. A couple of my friends, have heard of him and liked him. Liked him in Tombstone, liked him in Aliens, Terminator. But overall, he's kind of an overshadowed 80s action icon, I would say. And the fact that they got him to voice it, I was completely sold on the game from that first trailer. I mean, I would have given this game a 6 out of 10 just because Michael Biehn is in it, let alone anything else. Because he's no, I'm just saying, like the guy, I think he's completely overlooked. I enjoy his work. I was completely stoked for this game. I got it the day it came out, April 30th, I believe, because I checked my Steam account, had it, played it, enjoyed it, and the rest is history.
So
it is what it is.
Ubisoft every year puts out joke stuff on April 1st.
Oh, and they thought it was a...
And I'm going to actually let's segment this right into game development.
Absolutely.
Game development.
Yeah, so like I was just saying, Ubisoft typically does, April Fools, ha. So when I saw the trailer on April 1st, I was like, oh man, this would have been really
This would have been
fucking
amazing,
cool.
right?
And I remember the next day, I was like, just fucking around on Reddit before work, and Ubisoft literally opened the day with being like, are you guys ready to see more Blood Dragon? And everyone was like, started retweeting them, and they're like, wait, that wasn't actually a joke? And they're like, nope.
Right.
So then they released it at the end of the month.
Yeah, so it had like no hype time essentially.
Yeah,
Like,
it was secretly developed.
They had a sloppy launch, though.
sloppy.
So I know you mentioned they did their teaser April 1st.
Yeah.
April 7th, they accidentally leaked the game. There was an exploit in their Ubisoft's digital distribution service called Uplay.
Was that in Brazil?
It sounds about right.
I think I read that something happened.
The game leaked on the 7th. They had to close down their servers, like the whole Uplay service site that they have. Then they reopened on the 8th, and then I think they launched it on May 1st. Does that sound about right?
Yes, for Windows.
Yes. It kind of got out in the mainstream like a little bit early, so I don't think they had like this. I think a lot of people got like stolen copies, essentially.
Okay.
It just got circulated out there,
Yeah.
like really crazy fast.
I do want to say, I think it's amazing that this game exists. That I don't know how, whoever it was, the creative director or the writer for the game, and his name's online. If he pitched this to the bigwigs at Ubisoft and they were like, sold, done, because this kind of comedic first-person shooter that's a parody, this doesn't happen. This is like a diamond in plain sight. I just don't know how else to put it. It makes me happy that this game exists. It
Honestly,
really does.
It's like Duke Nukem, like old school Duke Nukem. It's a lot less raunchy
3D?
than Duke Nukem. But
Shake
yeah,
it,
like
baby.
Duke
Yeah.
Nukem 3D, like
Shake it, baby.
well, where it's like, it has that comedic value is like what it's really going for. But in this, it's just all throwbacks and references, which I think could bring us to our next segment.
Story.
All right, let's get into this epic original story.
Super original story.
Super original.
Super. I can't think of anything else that has been anywhere close to this.
All I can think of is space, Earth.
I will say, when I'm trying to recap the whole story in my head, I remember blips from the beginning and like the end.
Well, Sloan wants to like destroy the world because we're gonna make peace with
The Russians.
The commies.
Russians, yeah.
The commies. This is like an alternate Cold War kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Alternate Cold
Mhm.
War. It's set in 2007.
Yeah, I do remember that. He made a
Yep.
comment that
Which
why?
is funny.
Like they had this 80s feel, right?
Because in the 80s,
Because,
that was
yeah,
the
in
future.
80s,
Yeah.
2007 is the future.
In the 80s, like Blade Runner came out in 1982. 2019 is the future with flying cars and androids, and now we're like kids with Tide Pods and fidget spinners. But basically, he's gone AWOL. Sloan. He was the one that I want to say he sort of trained
Rex.
Spider and Rex,
Yeah.
which we didn't say his name yet. Rex Power Colt.
Rex Power.
Which you
Wait,
think would
Rex
be
Power Colt.
which you think would be
Yes.
more of a reference, but it doesn't really. It's just like the macho name. Like I thought for sure they could have more fun with it. Like what is it in The Simpsons? There's
Max
Max
Power.
Power.
Max Power.
Max Power.
Max Powers.
Who's Max? Okay.
Oh, Max Power. That's Homer. He changes his name to Max Power.
Okay. I actually have not watched a lot of The Simpsons.
Why would you choose that as a
Yeah, you
reference?
should
You guys didn't let
reference
me. You
that,
guys
man.
no, hold on. You didn't let me finish. What I'm saying is, there's a parody of Schwarzenegger in The Simpsons, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's his
Rainier,
name?
Rainier Wolfcastle.
Yep.
Okay. That to me is like I was expecting.
Kilbane.
Like it would make sense if Rex Power Colt was like a play off someone specifically. I guess they couldn't work that out, or
and
in order
Atom.
to stay away from too much copyright infringement or someone coming at them. I guess they just came up with this generic, super masculine macho.
Well,
Rex
he's
Colt.
80s action hero. He just has to. He could still be his own.
Yeah. I gotcha. So yeah, his teacher, for lack of a better word, his mentor, Sloan, goes AWOL. He doesn't want to make peace. He wants to blow up the world, of course.
As any good 80s action movie villain would.
And he wants to do it by, if I remember right, injecting the blood from the blood dragons. It was weaponized to an aerosol form, and it was going to make everybody basically become barbarians, mostly. Is that right? Does that sound about
I know
right?
he was using the blood for something. I forget what exactly he loaded the missiles with.
It makes you go in like berserker mode.
Yeah, it's something that just makes everybody go insane.
And then also there's a magical rainbow dinosaur that you ride for a little bit, and then
Well,
the
we'll
end.
get to that.
Oh my God, yes we will.
So I just want to say, so I mean, we're going to discuss the story, but I think for this episode, I want to just randomly insert quotes where I feel appropriate.
I think
Randomly.
I think that is appropriate for this entire episode because there were so many quotes.
Send for a medic so I can kill him too.
That was like one of my favorite lines.
So good.
That was the first one I wrote down. I was like-
That's what I've got written down. Look at this.
no, I lied. The first one I wrote down was, these tutorials brought to you by Kobayashi Cyborg Lubricant, lubricating your future.
Oh yeah. I mean, the script of this game is just brilliant. Like references within references, and just cheesiness and jokes that fall flat, but because it's a bad joke, you still love it. Like it just
Shitballs.
dick shitter. Like it's just like what?
It's like, did I really just hear that?
I guess I blew my load.
I liked because I always went for headshots.
I picked his brain.
Or pop goes the weasel.
But just the way they kind of made everything flow, where you just start up from, okay, you're Cyborg Man, and now you're going through, and you have this prime objective, you lose your friend, so
You kind of have like a Metroid thing
Yeah,
going, right?
yeah,
So you
something
start,
like that.
you start in the very beginning. I remember being like, "Wait a minute, why are all my weapons like perfect?" And I was like, "Oh, of course, because there's a Metroid thing where you start completely full power. You've got all the attachments, all the bullshit, and then something happens to you, and you get stripped down to the bare bones, and you start with, I think, the bow, if I remember right. You get stuck with the bow. Having said that, the bow is probably my second favorite weapon in the game, because I don't know about you guys, I played it on hard. This game, because I knew it, because I had enjoyed it so much, I was like, I'm not going to go medium, I'm going to go hard and see if I can do it. And I found that it's not that different, except that the enemies become really bullet spongy with the pistol and with the rifle, the assault rifle.
So you went bow. Throwing bows.
I went bow, and then about an hour into it, I was like, you know what? The Galleria is like my favorite shotgun that I can think of. I'm just going to upgrade that all the way to have the 4 barrels and semi-auto and a big mag, and I just would put that thing up in people's noses and pull the trigger.
So, I mean, is there really much else to the story itself?
Yeah, I'm not really
Oh,
talking about
yeah.
story.
I feel like the story in the middle was a little lacking. So it's like he lost his comrade. Was it
Scorpion.
Spider.
Spider.
Spider Brown?
Scorpion.
So he lost him, and then there was like a little bit of like couple missions in the middle, and then it cuts to this one scene. Shit, what was the big turning scene? It was like where he was.
Do you mean where he goes into, basically does the Mortal Kombat arena thing?
I guess
when they start doing the Mortal Kombat shit.
Yeah, that was odd.
That was pretty odd.
Like as soon as you open that doorway, it's like test your might.
So
Yeah,
there's
it's like,
a few
oh.
Mortal Kombat references.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you honestly, if you look at Spider, he looks like
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, he has that
Sub-Zero.
mask thing.
Yep.
No, I got that. So I guess maybe it's after you get that weapon. Is that when the sex scene
The kill star.
happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that's a big cut scene. Like
It
it
really
just
is.
transitions from one segment to another until you finally get control of your character back.
It was
again.
Well, they
minutes
give you that.
long.
They give you that warning when you go in to get the kill star that you won't be able to return to the free roam.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's probably like simple plot lines until you get to that point, and then it's like hard story all the way to the end at that
Yep.
point. That's how I
Speaking of
felt.
hard story, let's talk about the sex scene.
Appropriate.
The sex scene is utterly hilarious.
I wish I wrote down more of the
Clark's
quotes.
got it. Clark's got it.
Yes.
I have some of the quotes.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yes, no, yes, no.
It's like, yes,
Ouch.
yes, no,
Ouch.
yes,
Ouch.
no, no, no.
All right, so when it like first starts and she's like laying there on her stomach and he's like walking up her back but with his like robotic fingers.
Oh God, yes.
So then yeah, he's like touching her and she's like, oh yes, and he like touches her boob and she's like, oh yes, and then she's like, oh ouch, ow, ouch, ow.
Obviously, having a metal hand has its drawbacks.
Yeah, obviously. And then like when they're fucking, she's like, yes, 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 no, yes, yes, no, 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 no.
Hilarious.
Didn't she say something else like it's like you're all man where it counts or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that? Like,
she says you're all
it's
man
so
where it
funny because
counts.
he's a cyborg.
You may be 85% like cables
Synthetic blood.
and everything, but you're men where it counts.
Yeah, basically. If you're listening, you should probably go to YouTube and just find cutscenes from Blood Dragon if you haven't played the game, and you'll have yourself a chuckle. And if you don't have a sense of humor.
Some of them went a little long. Not saying like I really complained about it, but they were like some long cutscenes.
Well, I really liked how they basically brought Rocky and the Karate Kid in to make like one big cutscene, like the ultimate
montage,
80s
I love
montage
the
at the end.
montage. I even had to write that down. I forgot to bring my notes with me. That I just wrote down montage. It's
Same thing. Training montage.
It's
he's
it's
just
glorious.
doing like first you see him doing like 12, 13 push-ups, and then they go back to him again. It's like 597 push-ups.
It's so good. It's so good. And he's got like one plate on the dumbbell, and then they go back and it's like 7 plates.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
It's doing like a one-arm pull-up, and it's just see him going back up and down over the bar. It's like, what the hell
Yeah,
is this?
he's,
This is awesome.
He's pretty much Ivan Dragoing it.
yeah.
You could say. I'm pretty sure even one of the missions is like I must break you or something. Is
Yes.
one
It's
of
the last mission.
The last mission.
Yep.
So yeah, Rocky 4 is all over this. I mean, you can say generically Rocky, but I think it's specific to Rocky 4, which is probably the most ridiculous.
during the montage too, the hand grip.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like,
I did like how they threw the little extra of where he like first tried out the kill star, and he just like cut he like killed the one
killed
scientist.
the one scientist.
I was just sitting there watching it, it's just like zzz, and it just drops, and the other two look down and look at him. It's like, holy shit.
I did think that was a satisfying weapon to get then.
Yeah.
But is there anything else from the story we really want to talk about? Because it's ridiculous. Vietnam War 2 is something that happened in the past. Oh, the United States, nuked Canada and invaded Australia, I think, did they say?
No, we stopped them.
stopped
the Canadians from invading Australia
Oh,
by
okay.
nuking them.
Right. How could I forget that? Yeah.
And honestly, when he's talking about the Reds, I go back and forth on if the Reds actually means Canada or not to him.
Oh, you mean because like maple?
Yeah,
the
the
maple,
red and white,
leaves red.
red,
yeah, like-
yeah. Oh God.
Actually,
It makes it even
Fan
funnier
theory.
if that's actually like
All
the
right.
Reds that he's referring to.
All right.
So-
Show me your fan fiction. I want to read it.
In typical fashion of like action movies,
they wear pants.
like after the sex scene in the training montage,
Disappears.
there's like the charge towards the final boss.
Yep.
Where they're just, I am like ultimate hero now, nobody can stand in my way, and they're just like destroying everything in their path, right? So you finally, well, even before that, he's having like the flashback memories as you're walking slowly towards the gate, and you hear the voices from all the characters in the game, like the kind of like the rooting on type voice.
Yeah.
He gets to the final boss, which, by the way, I want to talk in gameplay because you never get to fight the final
Sloan.
boss.
Yeah.
True.
Yes.
True.
But then after that, you're standing there with, what is her name, Victoria?
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Hold on, you are cutting out a huge part of what I want to talk about the story.
Story? Okay, what?
I mean, how you get to Sloan is an important part of the story.
I was going to tie it into gameplay, but
It's a fun ass level, but you get to ride and drive a blood dragon with the Gatling gun on
With
its
the-
face.
Yeah, and while he shoots laser beams and the
Oh,
rest of it.
he has a
which
quote.
And he's talking.
I will break you. He says that. He says a bunch of stuff.
And I shoot lasers out of my fucking eyes.
Yep. Yeah.
He also says, "I'm charging my laser."
He also
Yeah.
says,
Yeah.
genocide is fun.
Yes,
Genocide is fun. Yep.
This makes me happy and sad.
And then Sloane shoots him in the eye, and he explodes. That happens.
We should shed a tear for the ultimate blood dragon.
yeah, he
Moment
was
of silence.
he was pretty awesome.
So anyway, okay. So getting through that segment,
Hey,
I will touch.
You broke the
moment of silence
for the ultimate blood dragon.
I don't give a fuck. Fuck that blood dragon. There's your moment of silence. I'll just break the audio and stretch the timeline.
I'll stretch the timeline.
Yeah.
All right, Doc.
Sloane, calm
Multiverse.
down.
So you get to Sloane. You power up. Oh, what the fuck? You punch through his head or something like that?
His chest, I think.
Yeah,
His
yeah, chest. And you fill him up with power. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, he said
It went to his head.
Yeah,
Power went to his head.
Lights out. No. Lights on.
yeah.
I guess all that power went to his head. So he's like, okay, you defeat Sloane. The missiles are going off.
Yep.
There's explosions like fucking out the wazoo. And you're standing there with Dr. Darling. And she's like facing towards the camera. And it keeps zooming in on her face. And she has the purple eyes of Sloane.
I've actually forgot about that little twist, and I noticed because all the cutscenes are supposed to be like either I want to say they're 8-bit. They're supposed to be like Ninja Gaiden, basically. Ninja Gaiden cutscenes. But that one was really high res, and I was like, why is this so high res? And then it started to zoom in, and I was like, oh, okay, that's why, because she turns and
They
it starts
pulled a-
out far and it zooms in.
They pulled a Michael Jackson Thriller, like at the end after he looks over his shoulder with Thriller with the yellow eyes, and they just do. a
That's
slow
exactly
pan
the
into it.
reference that
Basically,
they made.
yeah.
That's awesome.
That ties into the fact that there's no real sequel to this game.
I'm okay with it. It doesn't need a sequel.
All right,
No,
let's move on.
Let's
move on.
Actually, I agree with Harry. This does not need a sequel.
No, it's a
Oh,
great
God.
standalone.
Look.
Yeah.
No,
Look.
if they were to make a sequel, they'd destroy this.
Yeah, they'll destroy it.
They should make a sequel.
No, they shouldn't.
It should be a version of Trials where it's got a blood dragon theme. That would be perfect. That's exactly what this needs. You know, Trials with the motorcycles where you go up down hills and everything.
Yeah,
and
except for that
would be
fucking exists.
awesome.
Yeah,
That would
stop
be
being
awesome.
facetious.
Oh no! The trolls are loose.
Yeah, no. So that is a thing. There's the trials of
Yeah.
the blood dragon.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Oh,
it's
Fix that.
It's bullshit.
Hey,
it's
Ubisoft.
bullshit.
Ubisoft.
It's
fix
bullshit.
That. Fix that, Ubisoft. We don't need another Watchdog or whatever. Is that Ubisoft? I can't even tell if that's Ubisoft.
Yeah,
I'm losing my
Watch
mind.
Dogs.
We need Watch Dogs 3. We need Blood Dragon 2. More dragons.
No, we don't.
We do.
We don't. Leave it alone and
Blood Dragon 2, Electric
allow it to
Boogaloo.
be- allow it to allow it to be like the masterpiece that it is. Look, they took Far Cry 3, which was an amazing game, and then they made Far Cry 4. Not so good.
I didn't play Far Cry 4.
And then they made Primal, which was
Nobody liked.
Yeah. But that was Far Cry 4 Tundra.
He said, "Blow me," so I did.
Oh wait,
Those are my favorite. Those are my favorite kind of blowjobs.
that's the one. That's the one I remember. I blew up a Jeep with the explosive round. He said,
That's my kind of blowjob.
He called shotgun.
"Let's talk about the gameplay."
Gameplay.
Use C400 to blow enemies. Up.
Up. Okay, that's not a bad segue, Harry. The loading screens are all ironic.
Yes.
They're all very funny. Usually.
Yes.
Yes, they
Yes.
are.
Yes,
Yes, they
they
are.
are. Ha 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 ha.
You need ammo to fire your weapons.
You do? Are you sure?
Press the reload button to reload.
The whole game is a parody. I fucking love it.
Yeah, the whole thing just makes fun of itself, and it doesn't take itself seriously
At
in
all.
the slightest. I think that's what makes it so good, because they didn't take any part of this seriously. So into gameplay, I wanted to ask, what's everyone's favorite weapon?
It's got to be the Galleria for me. I love that shotgun.
I would usually have the Galleria or the minigun, but preferably Galleria, and I would just run around as fast as can and just take down everybody. I like that. It was just covers so much distance in a little bit of time and stab shuriken someone in the face. And I can fucking throw a ninja star in someone's face and kill them. Why would I not want to do that?
Yeah, the chain kills are awesome.
And then when that didn't work, run up and exactly what Ralph said, just put the shotgun right in their fucking nose and pop them.
Can you throw the throwing star?
Yeah, the shuriken.
No,
you
not
can.
the ultimate weapon.
Not the
you
kill
No.
star.
Oh, okay. Because that was just a big fucking laser beam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean
don't
one
remember
where if you were to take down somebody like with melee and there was someone else like still within the range, you could hit R2 and you would take a fucking shuriken, a ninja star, and throw it and kill them.
Oh,
on
I
the
didn't
spot.
do that.
You can chain kills.
I did chain kills, but it looked like he went in and just knifed them all.
Yeah, but
He could do
you
that
have
too.
to you have to press R2, and if there's someone far away, he'll throw a star.
Fair enough. So I was minigun primarily,
Really?
with shotgun as my backup. I couldn't get into the assault rifle too much. What?
Yeah, the assault rifle sucks.
Yeah.
the
Felt like you're
pistol
shooting
kind of
blanks.
sucked too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The pistol is amazing when you get all the upgrades for it. The pistol is like one of the best weapons in the game, but you have to literally have everything for it.
I gotta say, I didn't do a lot of the side quests, so I didn't unlock a lot of the extras for the weapons, like the attachments. I was primarily chain gun, minigun, however you want to call it,
Yep.
and then my secondary was usually the shotgun. Did not like the assault rifle. I did not like the pistol so much. I really did not care for the flamethrower. I mean, it was
Yeah.
nice for blowing through certain enemies, but then you get to those guys that are immune to the fire because they're the torch guys themselves.
I only use that thing for it's situational for the eggs. That's the only time I used it. I never used it again.
Yeah, like well, I tried using it and then I just realized they weren't dying fast enough as if I was just shooting them, so I just didn't. The sniper rifle with the explosive rounds was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I actually didn't get that until I was in the trials,
Oh, okay.
and then I was like, oh, do they upgrade your guns for these trials? But I looked at the achievements, and once you hit a certain thing, you get the explosive rounds.
Yeah, you can
So
buy
it just timed such a weird way that I thought
Okay.
the trials gave it to me, but I had actually just earned it as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it actually came in real handy, and the first shot I shot, and they just like exploded. I was like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
What have I been missing this entire game so far?
That right there that whole rifle is pretty much a Robocop reference. That's the gun that the Clarence Boddicker and his henchmen get at the very end, and they shoot those explosive rounds. So I got the explosive rounds fairly early on in this playthrough, but I previously upgraded all the weapons. For this run I didn't, and that thing is a lot of fun.
My favorite weapon by far is the bow.
The bow is awesome.
I love the bow in Far Cry 3 and this. Like, I think it's just a great weapon. You can be super fucking sneaky. Not a damn person can hear you. Or, like, I like sneaking in, doing the stealth kills. I utilize stealth a lot in this game. Like, do a couple stealth kills, and then you just see the one guy who's, like, slowly, your meter starting to turn up into him, and just pulling out the fucking bow and getting him with the fucking bow is awesome.
Very satisfying to use the bow. I completely
Oh,
agree.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I had a couple shots where it was like outside of the range, and I would just take my crosshair and lift it above their head a little bit, and you just and wait, and then it hits them like in the toe, and they just ragdoll.
Yep.
It's so satisfying.
And the best part about the bow is you can run over and get the ammo.
I was
'em up.
about to say you can actually pick up your arrows.
Yeah, you can just be like, boom, take out an entire fucking garrison with 15 arrows, run around and collect them all, and like,
I'm
ready to
go
take out
for
another
the
garrison.
Yes.
There's no shortage of money in the game, but that's the best way to save money as far as I can tell. Like, obviously you can loot every corpse, you can get every box, you can find money laying around, which I don't know if you guys noticed, but on the money, it kind of looked like Jane Fonda was president or whatever. I don't know. It's a lady on it, and I thought she looked like Jane Fonda. But no, you're absolutely right, Clark. Picking up those arrows, that's a great way to clear a room and to not really have anything lost, because the vending machines kind of annoyed me a little bit, just because it sort of like broke the convention. Like, why would there be a vending machine here that I can restock all my stuff? But I let that go. Primarily, I would just go in and like get all my ammo every time I got to one. There was no shortage of money.
Welcome to the circus of
two-
value.
Two things real quick.
Yeah, you're right. It's Bioshocky.
Number one, did you guys catch when you hold down the trigger on the chain gun, it reminds you of Rambo, the video game?
Oh yeah, because he's a.
Yeah.
I think that's actually a Predator reference.
No, that's fine. I don't care.
It's
Doesn't matter.
It's a Bill Duke reference.
Yeah. The second thing, though, I did have a question. As far as the money goes, is there any really expensive things worth hoarding the money to achieve late in the game?
The upgrades are expensive.
Yeah,
They're a couple
the
thousand.
the upgrades are like I think like the high end upgrades can be like 4,000 or 5,000 a piece.
Okay.
So yeah, you if you go that route, you do want to have a little extra cash, but it's in no shortage. I just to save time, I didn't loot every corpse like I did the first time I played.
Yeah, that was a bit time consuming while we're in gameplay. Like actually looting the bodies and going through
Yeah.
that whole thing and ripping out the heart. That got
Yeah.
really old.
Really fast. Yeah, actually, it's the same thing with Far Cry 3, and playing it this time, I thought to myself, why didn't they just like streamline this? Like you just walk over the corpses and you'd get all the stuff that's there, because you have to sit there and hold the button. Not, you get near them and you push it. You have to hold it.
Yeah.
Which in any game when you have to hold a button, it always annoys me like that. It's just not economical or quick. I like games that you can just fly right through or whatever.
So what I thought was weird that's in one of the Far Cry games, it's either 3 or 4, it's not in Blood Dragon, is the ability to double tap and quickly do that. You can just be like,
really?
literally your hand goes down, it comes up with whatever you have. But I think it's in Far Cry 3, but you have to have like your animal skinning
It's an upgrade.
all the way up.
Okay.
And then you get the skill, you can just like literally walk up to something and be like, boop, got all
Yeah.
the skins. Instead of, because like in Far Cry, you're sitting there and you're just like cutting open the fucking pig, and like you can just see him like just like ripping him up.
In a lot of ways, since you mentioned that, in a lot of ways, Blood Dragon is like Far Cry 3 light.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in Blood Dragon in terms of the gameplay, like getting garrisons, and even there are radio towers in Far Cry 3 that are not in Blood Dragon.
Right.
Imagine the Blood Dragon map times like what, 3 or 4?
Yeah, so actually the Blood Dragon map is part of Far Cry 3.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's just reskinned.
I never went back and saw a comparison. I gotcha.
Yeah, it's reskinned. It's like the southwest quadrant
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
of Far Cry 3. They just turn it into
Right.
this. And it's only like visited a few times in Far Cry 3. It's not a huge like area that's explored a bunch, and that's why they used it.
That makes sense. So in Far Cry 3, you have to like hunt animals and skin them to get upgrades for more ammo, for a bigger wallet, for things like this. And in Blood Dragon, you just have it. Also, I think there's stamina in Far Cry 3 for you to run, because I remember in Blood Dragon, the fastest way for me to get anywhere is just to run, and you can
hell
run
yeah.
infinitely. Like the Jeeps are there, but you don't need it. The Jeeps and other vehicles are really necessary for Far Cry 3. I know you guys haven't played it, and for our listeners who haven't played that one, it's like they took the best parts of Far Cry 3 and remixed it, which is exactly what this should have been.
Well, I would hope I wouldn't get tired. I'm a fucking cyborg.
Exactly.
But that made it even better for my playstyle of just run everywhere, stabby, shotgun, stabby. And I really did appreciate not having to slow down and then just walk and feel slow-paced. If I wanted to rush into a garrison and just tear shit up, I could do so, and I liked it.
Maybe it was the difficulty that I played this time because I played in hard mode, but I felt that I had to use stealth at some segments. And some of the side missions where you have to rescue someone, you're forced to do stealth. And I always felt it was weird that what should be an 80s action movie, the main character, who's such a badass and a cyborg, has to use stealth. To me, the setting for this game and the gameplay should be run and gun. You just run and mow people down and not have to consider
I could see
stealth
that.
and ammo conservation and things like that, And playing it on normal or easy, I guess you can sort of do that more. But for my hard playthrough, I found that I was being more stealthy, and it makes sense, I guess, but it didn't feel right for Rex Power Colt to be. You're not Solid Snake, like you just like run in and you should be able to run in and just mow everybody down, but you can't always do that because you'll get killed really quickly. Now, having said that, the healing is interesting, as you can heal infinitely 3 of your bars if you don't have any of the injections.
Mm-hmm.
And those are always funny, the animations where his wrist is like broken on his metal arm and he has to rewire it or do this or
There's
or
actually
do that.
quite a few different animations for this too.
Yeah.
Like the one arm is broken, or there's one where he's just like resoldering some stuff.
Or welding.
Or welding, yeah. There's one where he's pulling a bullet out of his arm. Yeah, the stress clamp thing that he just like is going nuts on.
Speaking of fun arm animations, did you ever notice that when you like stab and kill somebody, not doing the stealth kill, but have you ever did anyone ever rush you and you just have to actually kill them with the the melee? Did you ever notice that when you do that, he flips them off?
Yeah.
I saw
It's
that
so good. It's just it just it does the little guitar.
Well,
Fuck you.
And he'll do that even if you're not actually killing somebody and you just click melee, he just flips them off. You just see the middle finger come up.
It's so awesome.
Just run around. It's like fuck you.
Or when you level up, just rock on.
Yeah.
With the electric fingers.
Yep. One thing I want to say, the actual blood dragons, the way that they're incorporated in the game, the way that you need to distract them, or you can fight them outright, but they're usually pretty hard to take down if you don't have the right hardware. I thought it was interesting that because you have to be careful with certain animals in Blood Dragon, like the tigers that'll just pounce on you, or snakes will come after you. Most of the animals are passive, but there are those carnivores out there. But with the actual blood dragons, how you have to be careful around them, even though it wasn't that difficult just to chuck a heart and then they'll go after and sniff it out or whatever, and meanwhile you're leapfrogging over mountains and running away. It was an interesting dynamic to add to the mix that wasn't present in Far Cry 3. I don't really know what the direct inspiration for that is, sort of that you have to be careful around these guys. And it's very interesting how you can use them to your advantage, or they can fuck you up based on your actions.
Which I've been on the end of both of those. It's very nice when you find a group and just start chucking some of the cyber hearts over, and then they start taking apart the group, and then you start running away. It's like, all right, no, I'm pretty good. I hop in a Jeep, and then all of a sudden there's a fucking blood dragon up my ass, and it just destroys me. It's like, all right, this is great. This is nice.
Yeah, they're not to be taken lightly.
No.
And, I thought that was, I don't want to say unique, but it was an interesting element to the gameplay. The hang gliding is straight from Far Cry 3.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorite ways to travel, to be honest with you. Even over the running.
It's a really cool way to get around that area.
Very useful.
Yeah, it's in Far Cry 3. It's amazing just because the game, this game has a cool aesthetic, but when you actually have daylight and there's these sprawling valleys that you're hang gliding through, it's really breathtaking.
I haven't played it since I played on the PS3, and in that version I remember there was a lot of pop-in. You would look at grass as you were walking, you would see the grass grow, and once you saw it, you couldn't unsee that everything was popping in like that. So I'm probably going to revisit Far Cry 3 now that I have a machine that is well past that, because when I originally played Blood Dragon, I had to play it on medium to low settings, and this time I played it on everything maxed out, and my frame rate was a consistent 60, and it was just so much fun to play like that, play optimal settings, basically.
Right.
Overall, I don't think there was any little subcategories of gameplay that we needed to talk to. So just as an overall, I did don't crucify me.
Oh my God, here we go.
Crucify you?
Don't crucify me for this.
Crucify!
I thought the gunplay and everything in the game was clunky.
Clunky, really?
I didn't.
Too loose?
No, as in maybe I needed to change the what is it called? The sensitivity or something like that. It felt very rigid. I don't know. The accuracy seemed kind of off. I don't know. I thought that the shooting part of the game was probably one of the weakest parts of this game.
It's a first-person shooter.
I know.
Not the shooting.
I know.
Was weak.
Just to go off, I turned down the sensitivity.
You turned it down?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was thinking I needed to turn it up.
No,
it wasn't sensitive enough for you?
I don't know. It just seemed like I really had to to move one way. I just had to really flip the stick. I don't know. That was just my personal.
What'd you
opinion.
play it on?
360.
I played on PS3.
I don't know. That was the one thing that really turned me off.
I didn't like the driving. I mean, it was that where it's just moving it back and forth. It was so easy to get those things stuck. But that's just going off of the roads, which I get. It's it's going to happen. But I got stuck on so many rocks.
Yeah.
And then just have to throw a grenade to have enough pressure to pop it off the rock and jump back in, which I did appreciate. I could do that without actually blowing it up right away.
Do you guys like that you could throw a D20 to distract guards?
That was cool.
That was pretty neat. They're throw the dice. I'm what?
Oh, and then they call you a nerd.
Throw your D20 to distract guards, nerd.
I'm a little sad I didn't actually get to kill Sloan myself.
Oh, right. Let's talk about that.
They didn't give me the choice to do that.
It's odd.
The choice?
We're going there,
The choice, huh?
The option to.
It is
Yeah,
odd
it's weird
though.
that you don't get the option to do that, right?
They keep poking at this the entire game. Got to kill Sloan. Got to kill Sloan, and then it happens in a sequence, not in
and you don't get to make a decision about it, but they've been like harping on it, and it's kind of the whole point of the entire game, and you just don't get to have any say in it, right?
I'm pretty sure there's no 3D model for Sloan, unless my memory is.
No, I don't remember seeing anything
Why?
of it. Yeah.
I don't know why. Why isn't it that an arena, like a cage arena, like drops on you from the sky because it's Blood Dragon, nobody cares, and then you guys have to either fight. You have to like fight mano a mano. Like it could have been like a boxing thing. Like
It could have been.
They beat each
It
other up.
definitely could have been. It should have been a melee thing, not even guns. Like taking the guns out of the equation, I think it makes it more of like that action hero finale.
Yeah.
Only a fool trusts his life to a weapon. And
Or
they
somebody
duke it out.
goes to grab a pistol, but then the other character kicks it out of their hand.
Yeah.
Like how many times you've seen that scene
Oh
in
yeah.
an action movie?
Yeah, and then they fight to the death, and you win, or you get bludgeoned. I don't know.
Hooray!
They could have helicopters like come in and just drop a cage on you guys, and you duke it out. It is kind of a missed opportunity.
Yeah,
And
and it should have been over like a pit of blood dragons, and then he does that final kick, says like a quip or something like that, and just like roundhouse kicks Sloan
And then you
into
just-
this pit
like Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yeah,
Just here, finish him, and then just done.
like I feel like in the nature of this game, that's how that final sequence should have been.
Yep.
I would have liked that a lot better.
I have to admit that is something they there must be a reason they did it this way, but a missed opportunity.
Sorry, we'll just do Blood Dragon 3.2.
Yeah, when they make the sequel, it'll end that way.
Mm-hmm.
Sloane's revenge. He's more powerful.
You get to play as Sloan to take down Rex Power Cult.
Well, I think we hit most of the points for gameplay.
Yep.
Does anybody has anything else?
Nope.
Negative.
Next.
You're like fishing for more
Yeah, let's just move.
Let's do
Let's
graphics?
just go.
Graphics?
graphics.
Graphics.
I think we have said over and over how amazing this game looks, and like the aesthetic and what it does for or the service that it pays to all of the things that it's paying homage to is incredible.
Yes.
Like it's very stylistic. Rex looks kind of like Snake Plissken from Escape from New York with a fucking cyber arm, and like he's got the hair. He eventually gets the fucking bandana, and like it's good, man. It's real good.
Character models, hands down, I think are amazing in this game.
Really?
I will say that. Or maybe the art style. I don't know what I'm saying, but like, the way they design the characters, I think they're badass looking, like over the top. I don't think we use that phrase for this game to describe it in any way.
Over the top.
But I think in every facet of this game, you could easily say over the top.
Yeah, absolutely.
The music, over the
Over the
top.
top.
Just
The
the
about-
graphics, over the top. The story, over the top. The gameplay,
The gameplay, Sylvester Stallone in an arm wrestling movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say a great movie from the 80s that's not referenced in this. Over the top. I say great facetiously.
Yeah,
because
it's not
a
that
great
good.
movie.
It's Rocky with arm wrestling.
now I know
Kind of.
earlier you mentioned like their look of Tron.
I did. You're right.
I mentioned that to you the other night. Like that was like the first thing that struck me. I was like, it has this little bit of like how did I describe it? A Tron-y feel?
Tron-y.
And
Yeah,
you were
I
like,
think
what
that's right.
Tron-y? What's Tron-y? I was like, you know,
Or-
no, I said Tronish.
Tits and a
Tronish.
dick.
Tronish.
Tronish. And you were like, what's Tronish? And I was like, you
What
know.
is that?
And then Hamill had to explain, oh, it's just Tron with an ISH on the end or something like that.
Yeah.
But I definitely, like with all the lasers up in the sky and everything like that, like that new Tron movie, the Disney one that came out, like it just like the bright lights and
I could see that. Yeah, with just more color, not just black and like
Yeah.
blue. Yeah.
exactly. So I definitely got that.
It's very unique, the look of this game.
Absolutely.
You immediately know what you're looking at.
I also got a little bit of the Terminator type feel,
All over
Yep.
the Terminators everywhere.
and I think that was kind of homage because Michael Biehn did the voice acting. I think they were like, oh yeah, let's tie it to his most known like film. But yeah, overall, I think the look was good. I think they could have been a little bit more diverse with their enemy types a little bit.
The standard guys, the snipers, the heavies, the flamethrowers.
Yeah,
The
but
Blood
like
Dragon.
you, like
The
you,
Blood
you
Dragon.
described so many of those, but even those among themselves look very, very similar.
They
Like,
do.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think if you stood a regular trooper next to a sniper, I would be able to tell the difference.
I actually didn't remember that there are shotgun guys as well who are either in red or yellow. I don't know. Sometimes they had a different color to theme them out, but yeah, they all look generic.
Yeah, they absolutely do. I will say I love the animation. Did anybody get bit by a shark?
Yep.
Where he's like
No.
literally,
No.
so it's like grabbing you, right? And it just shows like first person, the shark like biting on your arm, and he's like punching it in the fucking head with his other arm until he just like beats it to death. Just nice little clip of that. I thought
Should
it
have
was,
let myself get eaten by a shark.
actually it scared me at first because it just like caught me out of nowhere.
Yeah. So animal attacks. Something we didn't really touch on in the gameplay, but like those like totally happen. Like
Tigers got me, I think.
snakes are really crazy too because they'll jump up
Yeah.
and you like catch them in midair as they're like hissing at you and shit. Crocodiles will death roll you, and your screen does the death roll.
I didn't see any crocodiles in this playthrough.
There's one.
Really?
It's leather. It's Leatherhead.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
mentioned
But yeah, they'll grab you, and your character will look down at his leg, and then you do the death roll, and it rolls the camera.
Holy crap.
It's very disorienting.
Yeah, I believe that.
But it's something that they did in Far Cry 3 as well, although there's like several different ways that you can get taken down by every single animal in
That
Far
sounds
Cry 3.
awesome.
It's a really great game. I can't stress that
yeah,
enough.
I mean, we should put it in the mix sometime. You guys should play it.
I mean, this is like mechanically, this is Far Cry 3 still.
Now, I think it is important to note while we're in the graphics section, the actual gameplay looks completely different from their story segments.
Oh.
Like the art direction.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, even just the story segments were a throwback and an homage to video games in the 80s, like where they were at for certain ones.
Yeah. Like, I feel like you could see some of those panels within, like, a Super Nintendo game. Like, it's still frame shot.
Yeah.
I
just,
really
like,
think
artwork.
I really think it reminds me of Ninja Gaiden, which was the NES.
I could see that, definitely.
So I'm not saying you guys are wrong, but I think they were more going for like an 8-bit because the Super Nintendo came out in the 90s. So I don't know if they did that intentionally, probably, but it really looks like a Nintendo game
Mm-hmm.
when they do the cutscenes. Include that with the limited movements that they can do.
Yeah.
I really do love the color
you.
of the arrows for the bow, how they're neon and they stand out. They're that blue, where everything
Yeah.
else is mostly like a green or red or pink or magenta or whatever. You know, the blue arrows really stick
They
out
were
in my
gray.
mind. Yeah?
I'm colorblind.
Oh my god. You need a cybernetic eye to fix that.
Oh, yeah, another menu thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like cybernetic eye. It does things.
Well, the thing about the cybernetic eye that's cool is it's basically Terminator vision from the Terminator films.
Yep.
But when you push and engage it, it's the bullwhip crack from Predator, which is what they use to signify when the Predator is viewed. I mean, you can tell because the filter changes, but you hear like a crack, and then you see the Predator's perspective. So they took Terminator and Predator and put them together perfectly.
Terma
Predator?
Termapred.
A Predator.
Yeah, Predator.
That sounds terrible.
I think it like clicked in my head just as you were saying it too. I was like, yeah.
I really love the poster for this game. The poster that looks like you could see it in a movie theater somewhere. The style with Michael Bihn's face and
The box art.
The box art, yeah. But to me, it looks like a movie poster. It sold me on the whole game before I played it. That image, I was like, Blood Dragon, there it is. It's perfect. Perfection.
Music.
We're on top 'cause we never quit.
All right, so let me ramble off a couple bullet points. I'll let you elaborate in a second, Ralph.
Harry's
ramble.
Music Minute.
So my first note that I wrote before I even did any research, I thought the opening felt like Terminator. Now, I know
Yes.
you were referencing The Thing with that. I think they have a very similar undertone, like deep beat to it,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
It's dark synthwave. The entire fucking thing is dark synthwave.
What he said.
Which actually brings me to the next point. A lot of the music in this game is Australian synthwave, performed by like the duo Power Glove. And I know you wanted to
Power
elaborate
Glove.
on Power Glove a little bit.
Well, I just wanted to say that I played this game and I like fell in a Power Glove hole, you could say. I listened to like all their music on YouTube.
Wow.
for-
Say you got Power Gloved.
Hey, you know what they say? No glove, no love.
That's what they say.
Wrap it up, Ralph.
Wrap it up.
Guys, what did I do, honestly?
Ralph's Music Minute.
Ralph's Fisting Minute. Da-da-da.
Power Glove is cited for doing the entire soundtrack, but what's interesting is the game actually has tracks of music from other films straight from them. Like the one track I think is called War. That's straight from Rocky 4.
Yes, it is. I
Like-
actually wrote that. Yep. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. So they made the ambient music.
Oh yeah, that's right. I wrote that. Yep, I did.
I thought I had another reference. I thought they did something else, but it was by Little Richard that did.
That's from Predator.
Yes.
Right. So basically, they took some of the highlights of 80s
Long Tall
action
Sally.
movies, Long Tall Sally. They took some of the highlights from those films and literally injected them straight into the game. Now,
Why'd you inject it like that?
straight into the game.
No, he used his whole hand. You did fingers, Clark. He
That's
went
it, guys. Like
all
the
in.
next podcast we do, we're gonna record me with my gestures. Some of the tracks are straight from the primary source. They're straight from the films. Other ones are like an homage from those films. Like some of the tracks from the Terminator, I don't think are straight ripped from the Terminator, but they're very, very similar. And the one track, I don't know its name, unfortunately. I listened to the first couple notes and the way that the music was meandering. I was like, this sounds like Scarface. And like, I don't think a lot of people reference Scarface when they think Blood Dragon, but I think the music in Scarface did influence Power Glove. I think they just like, they went into their basement and pulled out every 80s movie that they had and they threw it in and just listened to everything. And they churned out the soundtrack for Blood Dragon, which to me is right up there with the best
Wasn't
soundtracks.
Scarface made in the 70s?
83.
80s.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, there you go.
A best
Brian De
Halloween
Palma,
costume.
83. Al Pacino, Michelle Pfeiffer. I think the guys did a fantastic job. I mean, it's up there with the greatest soundtracks in a video game that I've heard. It's right up there with Rambo, the video game.
Loved the voice acting to go along with it.
Oh,
It just
yes,
really
please.
Set
Yeah. The big two I pulled was Michael Biehn, who played Rex,
Never heard of him.
and Phil Lamar, which I know we've mentioned before on the podcast.
Phil Lamar is like a fantastic voice actor, and he's very prolific. He's actually in Pulp Fiction as an actor. He's Marvin.
Yeah, he gets shot in
yeah,
the face.
Yeah. Which we referenced as well.
I shot Marvin in the face.
You gotta have an opinion.
I think he hit a bump. I didn't hit a
I hit no
bump.
fucking bump.
I will say, as far as Phil Lamar goes, I know most of his career from Mad TV.
Phil Lamar? Who's Phil Lamar?
Oh, that's right. He's on Mad TV.
What did I call him?
You
Yeah,
just-
Phil Lamar.
No, you just kind of like blended his
Phil Lamar.
name together.
Phil
You said,
Lamar.
oh, Phil Lamar.
You know,
Like, what?
like Prince and Shalimar, but Philamar.
I know him mostly from Samurai Jack.
I know him from Mad TV.
Yeah, that's where I'm
That
saying.
was like my first exposure to Phil Lamar.
UPS guy.
Yeah.
All right.
An open
All right.
letter to Phil Lamar. Phil Lamar, you're
Phil
great.
Lamar.
Keep
All right,
going.
great. Thanks, Phil. You're always welcome on the podcast.
Yes.
Michael Beans sold the whole thing for me, like I said before. But his
Sean Bean's brother.
no, his performance.
And their sister Lima.
His performance sometimes seems a little muted. Like what he's saying sounds really low, and you can't always hear. Like I just didn't think it's part of the mixing. I had the subtitles on anyway, but sometimes like I almost want to say you can tell that he doesn't do a lot of voice work, specifically voice work. But overall, just having him there is fantastic, and he completely sold Rex Power Cold.
I agree.
I think Sloane's good too. I don't know his.
That was the one I was
His
talking
name.
about earlier. I forget his name as well.
Yeah.
It was actually a.
Oh, the guy from Assassin's Creed. you said.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's worth it.
I mean,
Honorable mention.
There weren't that many voices in this game, obviously, because the
No.
story is pretty small. But everybody who showed up did a good job.
Oh, here it is. Danny Blanco.
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 Is it Blanco or Blanco?
Blanco.
Blamco?
Blanco.
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 Bluntco?
Bluntco.
Yeah, Bluntco.
Bluntco.
Blanco.
But no, even the scientists I thought were funny. The the enemies, who are always like all their dialogue through the filter makes sense and it fits the tone of the game. But I found it hard to understand what the hell they were saying.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like, oh my god, there he is. Roger.
I didn't even pay attention to
There
that.
they are, fire.
I was too busy like killing them. Like they didn't get many words out as I was, or I was like hitting them from far away with a bow and I
Right.
just didn't hear them.
Right.
Wait, they're allies though.
Who?
The scientists.
Well, the enemies.
Sorry,
You
the-
could-
oh, you're talking the
The
enemies.
enemies have
okay.
the filter,
Got it.
but
got
the
it.
scientists, yeah, you can usually understand what they're saying, and they're
Weird.
weird and not nerdy, but their dialogue makes sense, and I'm pretty sure it's just one guy that did all the.
You can
Oh,
hear
okay.
them like talking about like D&D and shit too. It's pretty awesome.
Well, if we're done with music, let's go straight into final thoughts.
You got it.
Final thoughts.
Give us your best final thought on Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon.
So I would say for never actually hearing of this game, then being told the premise of the game, and then seeing the entire satire. The entire satire? Yeah, fuck it, why not? That this game is, it's incredible. It just between the dialogue by itself sold me on the game. Granted, just opening up, ripping out at the side of a helicopter, and I don't know what more to really say about it. Yeah, it has its flaws, but for especially being
No, it doesn't.
DLC, I don't think you can really get much better than a DLC than what this game can be.
Well said, sir. Clark, go next.
Firstly, the techno future and visual art style of this is like a throwback to everything that I loved about movies in the 80s and the weird one-liner action hero genre and just 80s dystopian sci-fi worlds, and just it's reminiscent of some of my favorite movies like Escape from New York and LA, like that whole like you're on a mission, you got to go to this fucking place, you got to get it, man, you got to fucking get it done.
You like LA too?
LA's okay.
Yeah.
New York's amazing.
Yeah, agreed.
To me, this was just this amazing culmination of all of those things, and I don't think it could have been done better. There's not one super specific thing that I would actually change about this game without possibly altering the balance and the feel of everything about it. I really, really, really enjoy this game, and I highly recommend it to anybody that has. If you like Far Cry 3, check it out. If you like any of the massive amount of references in this game, check it out. I don't have much more to say. It's amazing.
If you have opposable thumbs, you should check it out.
Yes. I think everyone should check it out.
All right, moving right along to Mr. Harold Bowles.
So in conclusion, just running down the different parts of this game, I think a majority of it is fantastic. I like the cinematics in the game. I like the storyline. I love the dialogue, the music, the voice acting. I think it's all great. What I get really held up on with this game is the actual gameplay itself. I thought, generally speaking, it was a little bit boring, to be completely honest with you guys. I might be the minority here, but I didn't care to just go exploring and everything like that. I did it a couple times, and it just felt like rinse and repeat. Do the same thing over and over again. Once you clear one outpost, it's like copy and paste another 15 times. I wasn't feeling it, to be completely honest. I will say it was fun to play through this game once. I don't think I'll ever revisit this game. I think I have the memories I need from this game. I can't see any real need to revisit it, to be completely honest.
All right, we're just gonna
Fuck you. No, I'm kidding.
we're just gonna cut the last 2 minutes. For my final thoughts, Far Cry.
Far Cry is
That's a good start.
Far
That's
Quad
a
3.
fucking good start.
Far Cry Come
A
Dragon.
guard start.
Thank you. As a
That's
guard
a guard
start.
start. That's a great start.
It gets a good start.
Blood Dragon is one of the best examples of a gamble that paid off in gaming. I don't know who exactly greenlit it, but thank you to everyone involved. This comedic parody of an over-the-top 80s action movie is fucking flawless.
Fucking flawless.
Yeah, I was waiting for something. I did that on purpose. It's fucking flawless. I commend you, and I am so very thankful. My movie nerd crossed with my love of first-person shooters and Far Cry 3 came together in perfect harmony and synergy. I fucking love that this game exists, and the world is better for it.
Holy shit, he's serious.
Now, make a proper fucking sequel.
Disagree completely. Disagree 100%.
The
Do not
end.
make it. Do
The
not touch
end.
this game again.
The end. We're ending now. Let's hear scores.
Bring it
That
up.
was aggressive. Like
It was aggressive.
mommy and daddy are fighting, and the spaghetti's running down the wall.
You know they would
Not just
ruin
the
it.
spaghetti.
You know they would ruin it.
If they made a full-length Far Cry game that was Blood Dragon 2, there is the potential for that. I'm not going to lie. Maybe this parody doesn't work over 15 hours,
It doesn't. It wouldn't.
especially if you're sick of the repetitive gameplay like Harry.
Well, here's the thing. Harry's absolutely right. I see past that because I liked doing that kind of stuff. I honestly, one thing that annoyed me about the game specifically, and this is like a nitpick. This isn't a thing. Like, I like going into the different areas and doing stuff, especially once you have all of the stuff unlocked.
You
and
can do
the
it a different
guns are
way
like
every time.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if you go in, there's no unlock. Like in Far Cry 3, once you unlock all the garrisons, Far Cry 3 I played the shit out of too.
Yeah.
But like once you've beaten all the garrisons, you can just go to a spot and reset them all. And they just all reset with enemies again.
I forgot about that.
You can't do that in this. Like once you beat it, it's over.
The score.
All right, so I'm going to give this a 7.5, which ties with Silent Hill 2, Parasite Eve, and XCOM 2.
Wow. Okay.
Is that good or bad?
I'm surprised because you just said that, you thought it was repetitive.
Yeah, no, I respect a lot of the good attributes of this game,
Yeah.
which I foresee you guys holding it up like at 8.59-ish range if you were on my scale, but
That's right. You like Silent Hill 1 better than Silent Hill 2. Never mind.
yeah, I
Forget
rated it
what I
with
said.
Silent Hill 2.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Steven?
I'm going to go ahead and have to give this game a solid B for boobs.
Blood Dragon.
Blood Dragon.
B for Blood Dragon.
B for blood. Or BB.
I'd like to go last, so Clark.
Why would you like to go last?
Oh, by the way, I am surprised you didn't make some kind of reference to Steve's spank bank with the titties in this game.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There are
Oh.
8-bit. No. He only likes polygonal 32-bit
Polygonal, please.
polygonal.
Polymorpheus.
All right. For my score, I'm going to give this a two bionic fucking metal rock fists with electric out of 3 laser sharks.
Okay. Cool. I'm giving this a 100%.
Wow.
Thank you very much for tuning in to Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon with Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go.
100%?
100%.
Wow.
You've
Is that
never
it?
given
Is
100%. This is your highest rated game.
100%.
Is this the end? Like, are
Yeah,
we
this
done
is
now?
This is still the
No,
end.
let's announce the next game.
In 2 weeks, it'll be Duck Dynasty.
Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.
It's just so funny to...
Ew, oh my god, I watched the spray.
Yeah, well.
Who's
shut
got
up,
the
Harry.
flu? I don't feel so good. So, some of the tracks, but...
I just turned into the thing. I sneeze.
Yeah, fuck!
Oh God!
You gotta be fucking kidding.
Hey, you'd all be dead. Steve might have a chance if he can get up the stairs quickly
Yeah.
enough.
Yep.
Fuck you two.